There is Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg taking his company public, becoming an instant billionaire. And now the 29-year-old is taking on Washington, putting his brains and bankroll behind the push for immigration reform. He sat down with ABC's David Wright to talk about all that, the dangers of domestic spying, and his take on all those Obamacare website glitches.
In a room full of hackers, the guy in the hoodie stands out. In fact, Mark Zuckerberg counts as an elder statesman. The 29-year-old founder of Facebook is exactly the sort of success story these other bright young faces hope to be, if the U.S. government allows them to stay in this country.
What is your status?
I was undocumented until I applied for deferred action.
These young people are all undocumented immigrants, taking part in a 2-day hackathon organized by Forward.us, a Silicon Valley lobbying group pushing for immigration reform. Zuckerberg is one of the group's founders.
I was teaching an after-school program, and one of my top students put his hand up and he said, "I don't think I'm going to be able to go to college because I'm undocumented."
For Zuckerberg, it was a eureka moment.
When you meet these children who are, really talented and, they've grown up in America and they really don't know any other country besides that, but they don't have the opportunities that that we all enjoy, it's really heartbreaking, right? And it seems like it's one of the biggest civil rights issues of our time.
A civil rights issue? How do you mean?
There are 11 million undocumented people living in this country.
Some would argue that all 11 million are breaking the law and have no fundamental right to American citizenship. What would you say to them?
There are a lot of misconceptions about that, and a lot of them came here because they just want to work. They want to help out their families and they want to contribute. We definitely should make it so that they can, so that there's a path for them to come into the country legally as well.
That's the message of new ad Zuckerberg's group rolled out this week to put new pressure on Washington.
Tell Congress the time is now. Fix America's broken immigration system.
The future of our economy is a knowledge economy. And that means that getting the most talented people into this country is the most important thing that we can do to make sure that the companies of tomorrow are founded here.
It seems obvious that Silicon Valley has an interest in stopping the brain drain. The harder case is for the non-skilled labor.
And one of the things that the Dreamers here today show is that even if you're a child of someone who came here who wouldn't be considered one of the higher skilled workers, you still are probably you can be one of the entrepreneurs of tomorrow. And, that's the American dream.
In practical terms, Forward.us is pushing for 3 things: more visas, especially for highly skilled workers, a pathway to citizenship for undocumented immigrants who are here, and securing the border so that in the future the only people here are here above board.
Mr. Zuckerberg.
Earlier this fall, Zuckerberg set aside his signature hoodie and put on a suit and tie for a round of lobbying on Capitol Hill.
Are you more or less optimistic after your recent trip to Washington?
I'm fundamentally an optimistic person as an entrepreneur. The vast majority of Americans want this to happen. We have to push forward. It needs to happen.
We also asked Zuckerberg his thoughts on 2 other digital issues. NSA surveillance, for one. Facebook has faced its own questions over user privacy, but has pushed back hard against the government's wholesale collection of data.
I certainly think that we all want national security, right? We want to live in a safe country and we want to be protected from risks.
But is the route to safety through the mass collection of data?
I think that these things are always a balance in terms of doing the right things and also being clear and telling people about what you're doing. I think the government really blew it on this one. And I honestly think that they're continuing to blow it in some ways. And I hope that they become more transparent in that part of it.
And there's the program where the president himself admits the government blew it big time. The troubled website Healthcare.gov.
What advice would you have for the president on his poor website?
Sometimes stuff doesn't work when you want it to. We've certainly had plenty of mistakes and things that haven't worked the way that we want to. The right thing here is just to keep on focusing on building the service that you think is right in the long term.
This is one area Zuckerberg has more expertise than the folks in Washington, but for now he's keeping his eye focused on immigration reform, a political coming of age for the Facebook founder and quite possibly Silicon Valley. For this week, David Wright, ABC News, Mountain View, California.
Yeah, don't think he wants to go near that website. Thanks to David and Mark for that.